Big band jazz is blazing in the Northwest, thanks to Bob Curnow and his musical friends. The Bob Curnow Big Band has been performing around the region since 1990. Bob has spent his entire life with music, starting with a very musical family.
Music was very much a big deal in our family. Not a pressure thing, but I think we all, my sister, my brother, myself, all just took that direction without really thinking about it too much. My goal as a young guy in high school was to write music, and I started a band when I was about 14, a small band of about 7 players, and I wrote the music for that band, and that's where I kind of learned all the mechanics and the fundamentals of writing music and trying it out on my buddies.
Bob's interest in big band music came into focus one day when he heard a record by the Stan Kenton Orchestra.
A friend who took me into a record store, people will remember this if they're as old as I am, where you could go in and take a record and go into a booth and listen to it before you bought it. And it was a trombone solo called Collaboration by Kai Winding, playing it with the Stan Kenton Orchestra, and that was it for me. I'm going to do that. I'm going to play in that band someday. And so it went.
Before long, Bob actually met his idol Stan Kenton at a youth band camp.
And he was walking down a hall in a dormitory where I and a number of other kids were working on some music that I'd written. And Stan ducked his head in and said, "Who's playing that?" And I said, "I am. What's your name?" And so that's how we met.
Soon, while still a young teenager, Bob became a member of the Stan Kenton Orchestra.
And it was all older musicians who had played with Benny Goodman or Glenn Miller or that level of accomplished musicians. So as a kid, there I was sitting in a trombone section, surrounded by all this wealth of information and kindness. All these guys were just wonderful to me.
Bob went on to arrange music and produce albums for Stan Kenton. He also became a music educator, teaching at the university level until the late 1980s.
I got my full professorship and immediately quit. Yeah, I wanted to do some other things besides teaching, and I'd had 20 years, and I figured that was long enough.
During the 1980s, Bob served as director of the McDonald's All-American High School Jazz Band. He had a very busy schedule with the band, including TV appearances on shows like Jerry Lewis's Telethons. Many of the McDonald's band members have gone on to their own successful careers in music. Bob has continued to compose music and create arrangements for jazz artists such as Pat Metheny and others. He now runs the Sierra Music Company from his Northwest home. Using modern technology, Bob transcribes and restores classic big band tunes into sheet music, which is sold to performers and schools.
We publish the music of the Stan Kenton Band, the Buddy Rich Band, the Maynard Ferguson Band. Duke Ellington's music is in our catalog. The music that was performed over the last 70 years during the history of jazz, or during the period of jazz, is in great jeopardy. The books are gone sometimes, or if they've been recovered or saved, the music is in very tattered, terrible shape. So I've kind of taken on the job in relation to the publishing company of recreating this music from the original old parts and digitizing them, putting them in a computer and creating new archivable scores of the music. So that gives that music even more of a life.
Through Sierra Music, Bob has published sheet music for almost 100 of his own compositions. He started his band at a time when he needed the help of musicians to check the accuracy of his transcribed sheet music.
And the band, after a while, became pretty good, and the guys were taking more and more pride in the way the band sounded. So then we'd occasionally go do a gig somewhere. We'd play at the Coeur d'Alene Arts Festival or play at a high school, that kind of thing.
The members of the Bob Curnow Big Band live in the Northwest and are either music teachers or have graduated from music programs.
We really don't rehearse very often since we're performing so frequently, and the band essentially is able to take a new piece of music right out of my hands on the gig, and we play it down. And that's pretty admirable that these musicians, young and older, can manage to do that.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.